Hey, how you going? It's Anthony here. I just wanted to go through a few of the bits and pieces on this lift now. This video is just going to be a start, and there'll probably be a few more down below on this particular page. So I'll try and be specific as I can with the sun in the background. You can see my messy hair. But look, I'll just zoom in, and we'll start off with the electrical panel and just get our head around that. So, bit of a noise now. So if I flip it around, we've actually got a really good fault diagnosis on here. And if we zoom around into the PLC or the computer, we can see currently it's flashing at E5 1. So it's down at level 1. If we come back to here and we focus on E5, the elevator door was not closed properly. Okay, well we can clearly see that. Now, but let's just get our head around E5 for a minute. So there's two floors, okay, so they're exactly the same. And there's a switch to nominate that it's closed in one direction, okay, so the magnet's going to come in there. But then we've also got another one in here. So that's got to be closed as well. So there's actually two switches going on, 1, 2 at each floor. Now, I don't want to do it just yet because I've actually put some glue onto that. Oh, it actually already sticking. So look, if we close that, so now, you know, this one's in Chinese, but so we got the green there flashing now, okay, and that's because it's actually open door. Close that, green's gone. And we come back to here, we've got E0 now, okay, and E0 is no errors. So there's lots and lots of key switches not closed. Well, key switches here. Where's my finger? Key switches here. Emergency stop. Go to 1, go to 2. Now, while I'm down here, I don't really want to go through all of these errors, but I will highlight one more. I've got some little spare fuses to go into this holder. And if I open this door up again, and I look up, the method of hoisting for this lift is actually an electric chain hoist. Now the electric chain hoist has got what we call a pendant control, being normally a human's pushing a button in and out, okay? But in this particular case, we've actually got a contactor triggering it. Yeah, so we've got up and down here going on, okay? Now, when that button pushes, up the top, there's actually a small fuse in the right hand side there. Well, in the right hand side cover. But what I've done is, and you can see there's a black wire there. Well, that's a 2-core wire, and it comes down, and it comes around, and it goes to this fuse. Now when I say I've done that, there's no actual fuse in there at the moment. And the way I've configured it up the top is if the fuse blows, it will not operate, which is fine. But I didn't want the next person to have to go through the struggles of actually finding and learning the fuse. So I put fuses here and fuses here. So if it stops, we should just be able to replace this fuse, or put a fuse in there first, and then from there on, it should be just maintained from this fuse here. But to illustrate that, when you push go to 2, everything works, everything's correct here, and it still doesn't work, I'd be moving towards this fuse here. That's now the other thing that we've got to consider in amongst all of this is we've got some limit switches. Now I'm just going through and tidying off at the moment. We've got a magnet here again, very similar to the door, and we've got our proximity switch. So that means when we say proximity, when the magnet triggers the limit, we're basically then switching off. So we're stopping lifting, okay? And we've got another one down further that allows it not to necessarily travel any further. Now this lift's it's that close to ground level already. Now I'm going through and I am actually tidying up the wire, so despite what you see right now, and again up the top, we've got the same thing going on. Now I'm just going to pause there for a moment. So what I've done now is I've actually closed the door, okay, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to go up to 2. Alright, so we heard it all go click, click. Now I'm going to pause again. I'm going to walk upstairs and we'll go through it up the top. We can see here it's flashing and it's going up. Now it's arrived at 2. Okay, it looks, and it's released the door lock. So it needs to actually acknowledge. So it needs, where are we? It needs to acknowledge this switch here, sends power through and actually releases the lock. So now it's locked. Now it's powered, the lock's released. Okay. Now I've got a little relay in here because I needed to I wanted to verify everything was working, and I put a little relay, and it's the same downstairs, it's in the panel. But now we've actually got our door handles locked, okay? And now we should be, now you can see we have not got the green going on. So that's a good thing. Now, there is another element of what's going on here, and I've got these keys, okay? We've got the panel control key, and we've got a maintenance type key. So we wanted to go into maintenance and get in. We can actually unlock the door and we can open it, even though when this lift's powered off, all this is locked solid. So it's like you turn the main power off, all this stays locked, and that's it, that's finished. Again, if you need to get in for maintenance, it's a key, and during normal operation and power up. And we've also got this emergency stop button. So let's send it down. Okay, so it's going down now, fine. Let's stop that for a minute. Okay, so it's stopped. We've got our emergency stop. Let's push it again. Now sometimes we can go back up again, depending on how long you've left it for. Now let's go down again. Whoop, got to push that again. And then there we go again. Okay, so that's going down the bottom. Now I'm not sure entirely, but I think that pretty much covers everything for what could go wrong, what's needed, I suppose, and I can't really imagine anything else that's going to need to be inside. But having said that, there'll always be that number down below, and you can reach out, we can sort of make contact, and we can go through some more steps. So I pretty much understand these things, logically speaking, very, very well these days, and they're very much consistent, so we should be able to work it out. If there's any little bugs, let me know. For upwards and onwards, here's to your success. Anthony, Total Lifting Solutions. Bye for now.